I said, I'll tell you this. Experience. I said, when you're in the spirit, I said, your only thing on your mind is God. That's it. And I said, but when you fall, you know, you're in rest with God. You're resting with Him. I said, it's something that it's very hard to explain. It really is. But the feeling is just imagine yourself resting in God's arms. That's how you feel. You just go down and you're in a rest, most peaceful you could ever be. I mean, that's the only way I know how to explain it. You know, you're just in that rest with Him, and and once you do, you want it all the time. I mean, you really do. You want that every time, but we may not get that all the time, and that's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
Right.
But you strive for that to get in that spirit realm with Him and just fully engulf Him and let Him engulf you. Because as He tells us, we live in Him and He lives in us. So you just join that two together, and you're there with Him,
Right.
and it's the most wonderful feeling you'll ever have, ever, but at the same time now, it's. I mean, you can do it at home. You don't have to be in a church setting to get these things.
Absolutely.
At all. You can be in your own home because it's during your worship time with Him. You're not asking God for anything,
Right.
not nothing. All you're there for is to simply worship Him. That's it. And He'll put you there. He'll put you in that realm with Him. But it's the thing that you also have to believe that you can have. Because if you go into it and think, this is crazy, this ain't gonna happen, I'm not gonna get this, I don't really believe it, but I'm gonna give it a go. That's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
You have to believe it, knowing you're gonna receive it.
Right.
And once you put yourself there and you're just fully engulfed in Him and praising Him, worshiping Him, you'll get there. I mean, that's how I get there.
Very peaceful feeling.
Oh yes, girl, it's amazing, amazing.
What I've learned is you can get that peace also, not just by worshiping in the church, but when you have a relationship with Him, like on a daily basis, just you and Him.
Yes.
Reading the Word and that intimacy
Yeah,
of
definitely.
peace that you find is also something that, like, I strive for, like I want, like I
Yes.
desire,
Yeah.
and every day.
So we should. I mean, we should.
Right.
Because people don't realize that we can have that strong connection with God here on earth.
Right.
We don't have to wait till He calls us
Right.
home to have that, to experience that. We can literally have it now.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want that now? You want to experience everything you possibly can here on earth with Him, until we get called home. And then we're going to see things we never imagined.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
So when you invited Jesus into your heart, do you remember that day?
Yep.
And can you tell us the experience that you've had during that time with your relationship with God?
Yes. It was, I was young. I'd done had kids, roughly 18 to 19. And once I accepted Him into my heart and into my life, it was, in the beginning, it was a blissful, peaceful, I knew he had me. You know, I wasn't alone. Because a lot of times we as humans feel alone. And I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel as though I needed to go run and talk to this person or that person about my issue or my problem, whatever it might have been, because I had a higher power that I could go to.
Right.
So, but at the same time, it's not all blissful, because once you become a child of God, well, guess who's coming after you?
Right.
Satan. The devil himself is coming after you as hard as he can. He's going to throw every dagger he has at you, whether it be emotionally, physically. You're going to have friends that are going to dwindle away because now you're a Christian.
Right.
They want no part of that. But the devil will hit you so hard, you it's almost as though you're thinking, why am I doing this? Because we have that. We're human, I guess is the only way to put it.
Kind of like you feel like, well, it's a change. It's a change. So therefore, what you're used to, you're a lot of times we're scared of the unknown.
We are very.
And so therefore, when we think about making that decision, this is an unknown territory.
Exactly.
So is that what you're referring to?
It is to a sense, but you got to also realize that when we were living in sin, the devil was still right there beside us the whole time. But we didn't realize that because we were enjoying what we were doing.
We thought we was.
Yes,
anyway.
we thought we had the best life ever.
Exactly.
You know, we'd go out, we'd do our thing.
Exactly.
So the devil had no reason to come after you because you were already living in sin at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you become a child of God, that's when he comes after you. That's when he throws everything at you. And the best way I can say to get through these things is to do exactly what Jesus tells us to do. Trust in me.
Right.
Trust in me. I will fight your battles. You need not to do that.
It's the way, the truth, and the life.
Yes, exactly.
The life that is an unknown good life.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we're still going to go through our trials and our tribulations. God doesn't say he's going to protect us from all
We
of
handle
that.
them differently.
Yes, because when we go through them now, we drop to our knees. And that's the difference. You know, if the devil's coming after you, we pray harder. You pray fervently on it. And God's right there with you to walk you through it, guide you through it. And at the same time, you're also being taught a lesson from it. You know, and those are the things that we have to think about. That sometimes our minds don't. We just think things happen because they happen. No, they don't. I have always believed, and I still do, that there's not a coincidence. Coincidence don't happen. They're happening either because Satan's coming after you or because God's right there with you, lifting you up, taking you down a path. So
we can all plan anything in the world, but we cannot plan the outcome.
Exactly, we can't. There's no way we can. You know, I mean, it's just like, for instance.
But when you look at, what I think about is when you look at the two sides of knowing, you know, whether the outcome, how it's going to be, the end and outcome.
Yes.
You know, you think about the life of sin, and we pretty much know where that outcome is going to go to when I think about it, because it's not good.
No.
It's not good. It's, you take your friends, you take your family, you take everybody through a lot of stuff, and in the end, who falls?
Yeah.
You do as a sinner.
You do.
I do as a sinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, if you already know this, the unknown is the same thing, but it's good.
Yes.
You know, like now you have Jesus walking with you, and you bring your family through it, bring your friends through it,
Yes.
and in the end, who gets the rewards?
Exactly.
You do. I do.
Yeah.
And that decision is completely different than any decision that I've ever made before.
It is. And you also got to think it's a lifelong decision.
It is.
And I'm not saying we're not perfect. We know that. We're not. I have fallen away many times from God. Many times. But God always brings me back. Always.
Yeah, and when I think about my experiences, like even when I'm not expecting him to bring me through
He's gonna
something,
bring you
he's
back.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to bring you
He
back.
knows our hearts. He knows our hearts. There's a place in my heart that I know that he knows that I personally do not even know.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Definitely. God knows us better than we know ourselves.
Absolutely.
He knows what we're going to do, what we're going to say before we've even done it.
Yeah.
That's why before we do things, before, as you said earlier, before we walk out the door in the mornings, pray. Just pray. But don't forget that once you walk out that door, don't forget you prayed. You continue your prayer throughout the day.
Exactly.
It's not a one-time prayer deal.
Right. I don't like to, and I hope I never do again in my life, have that moment in time in my home with Jesus and walk out after I've asked him to help me with something and turn around and do the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like, and when we do that, you might as well just be saying when you walk out the door, Lord, I'm a sinner, forgive me, here I go.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that I'm respecting him when I do that, or if I did that. Well, I've done many of times. So, and he deserves better than that from us. He deserves so much better than that. He does. From us.
Well, you think of what he done for us, and knowing that he took on all of our sins, not just you and I, the whole world. He took on everybody's.
Right.
So the least we can do, in my opinion, is pray. Thank him. Worship him. That's what he asked us to do, is to do those things.
And that's what I find is that's one of the easy things.
Yeah.
One of the easiest things for me is to pray. But to actually step out into that faith, that's a completely new ballgame.
Well,
that's new things, that's new challenges that come to you as well. So therefore, I hunger for the differences. I steadily want to keep stepping out there.
Yes.
Because in my life today, there are things that I'm letting go of just a little bit at a time. Yeah. And at first it started with me not wanting to share my relationship with Jesus with anybody else.
Yeah.
Who else have I got to ask for forgiveness for? I'm already forgiven.
Right.
So it was really difficult for me to start sharing with someone else the relationship that I believed and I had with Jesus. And then, I actually had to sit back and make that decision, I wanted to keep them all to myself.
Yeah.
I never even really realized that I was like that. But when it was time that, he was ready for me to start helping other people, then it was almost like I was jealous. I didn't want nobody to have what I had. But then you have your own individual, personal relationship with him.
Yes.
So that selfishness, that one-on-one, you have that no matter where you go, what you do, that type of jealousy is to tell me who I am.
Yeah.
and what kind of protection and control that I want,
Right.
that he showed me,
Yeah.
because I was that way towards him.
Yeah.
I was that way towards him, which made me even worse towards everybody else, I believe. But when I started opening up, and I'm like, I do have to ask other people for forgiveness. I actually had somebody to tell me that. I said, I already
Yeah.
asked for forgiveness. They said, well, you didn't ask me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I didn't know I had to. I didn't know I had to ask you, but that makes perfectly good sense.
Yes. Anyone that you have hurt during your sinful life, well, we're just going to call it for what it is.
Yeah.
You were lost. You know. So therefore, when you become a Christian, Jesus tells us, you have become new.
Exactly.
I have taken the old away. Now you have become this new person.
And these are the things that I had to slowly let go of, because, that new life is new changes. It's
Yes.
new changes.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that change just started with, like, simple but true, parking in a different spot at work when I went to work. Yeah. Like, I wanted to make a change.
Yeah.
I wanted that
Well,
change to start taking place. So that little change
Yeah.
that I was in that habit of parking in that one spot, and that's where I always parked.
Yeah.
So that change turned into me changing, like, my sock drawer to another drawer.
Yeah.
Just these simple
things.
changes. Like right now, you and I have been friends our whole life.
Yeah.
And of course, we hadn't always stayed in contact, but that's one of the changes, that we've stepped out to do, is like sit here and catch up.
Exactly.
And be able to have that, build on that relationship.
Yeah.
So just little simple changes. It's
Well,
amazing how it can change your life.
Definitely.
And those little easy changes,
Yeah.
to make it good, to make better choices, can just as easily be made in the wrong direction.
Oh, definitely.
So that's where the caution comes in. I don't personally worry about it, because I believe God's got.
Yes.
But we can fall without realizing it. He will allow it. And there's always lessons learned behind it.
There is. But, we're also told that we are to pray before we do anything. And I mean anything.
And everything.
Yes. Before you eat, before you get into a vehicle, before you open up your Bible, anything, we're to give him praise on and to thank him for our blessings.
Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. Like, I'm still steadily trying to find my place and, like, my job. And what I like to do.
Yeah.
Because what I enjoy doing is kind of important to me, because I've lost a lot of time, like, with my friends and family, and isolated myself into work and home.
Yeah.
And so I'm out, talking to everybody. I'm like, God has put me in new places.
Yeah.
He has put me in new places around different people.
Yes.
That's absolutely amazed me. So therefore, I'm seeing these chances that I have. I'm seeing, like, I could, if that's what you want, Lord, that's what I can do. I can do that. If my body will do it, but better than I do. But as I was out here talking, to different people about, that higher chain of command or something, God put me in my place. And you know what he told me?
What?
Be still and know that I am God.
Exactly.
I felt like that was, Tina, shut up. You've worked on this hard enough for long enough. Let me take over now.
Yeah. Let him have control.
And that, it just makes my heart, makes me want to cry, because I know that that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I know that that's how good he is, that, we don't have to take on things ourselves.
Mm-mm.
We only have to make that initiative to show him that we want it.
Yes. That's it.
And to know that he knows the path. And he knows exactly what is the best place for me.
Yes.
It's such a comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't do no wrong because he's got me.
Exactly.
I feel like there's no mistakes, like nothing said that could, be right or wrong, because he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Like, we don't even have to worry about things like that. We don't have to have conflict with people. And when we do, like, it's just like, why did we just do that?
Yeah.
Like, we hurt ourselves so much.
We do. I mean, in reality, we can be our own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
that tells us that in the Bible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're our own worst enemy.
Absolutely.
Because we try to take on the world sometimes, thinking we can do this, and I can also do that and this.
Mm-hmm.
God is saying, whoa, let's stop. Because if you're constantly moving, you're constantly going, when are you still? When is the time that you're taking for God?
Allowing him.
Yes.
And allowing him to make those changes in your life to help you.
Yeah.
Yes.
God does nothing to hurt us.
I so would not let anybody. My experience, I can totally remember, because I'm pretty independent.
Yeah.
And I have been, my life, my story from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I had to grow up.
Yeah.
I had to grow up. So I've become a very independent person, and I'm easily influenced as well. So I have to be careful with what I'm around. And I've learned this through my life. Now I feel like I'm strong as an ox. But,
yeah.
but, I mean, I could be around anybody.
Yeah.
But when I couldn't, I was falling.
Yeah.
I would fall right into everything that everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
Fall into the conflict, fall into the argument, fall into the cold-heartedness, fall into everything, just sinful nature altogether.
Yeah.
Just, just indulge, like it's our nature to do these things.
It is, and a lot of times it's the fact that we just want to be liked. We want these friends. I call them so-called friends now. But we strive for that. That's human nature to do that, to want to be wanted. Period. Just to want to be wanted. When in reality, we're already wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was already there with you. He tells us that plainly.
And through all the independency I had, I can remember coming to a point where, what, God told me, you're going to have to find help. You're going to have help.
Yeah.
Like, this is not where I want you to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're obviously comfortable being by yourself.
Yeah.
like you're so independent, like you don't even want no help. I'm
just going to leave you alone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's how I was. And I remember thinking, when people would come into my life and they wanted to help me, I would have that feeling like, no, I'm not going to take that.
Yeah.
And then the Lord would tell me, take the help.
Yeah.
Take the help. So I had to gradually, I saw that unfold within my own life. And I noticed after I allowed that help into my life, it was a huge change for me.
Yeah.
Now I want it.
Yeah.
Now I want
Now
it.
you want
Now
it.
I want that help. I
Yeah.
want to, that companionship, that
Right.
relationship with people, and
God's taking you out of your comfortable zone
He has.
and putting you on a different path because He had more for you,
Mhm.
but you were holding yourself back from what God is trying to give you.
But why at the age of 50? Why did I have to go through all those
You know,
years?
we can't look at it like that because within those years, what have you learned? You know,
True.
God,
Throughout those
God's still
years, I've
teaching.
learned how hard-hearted I was, how hard-headed I
Right.
was,
It's
how rebellious I
everything.
was.
Yeah, it's everything that we need. Even at times that we're doing certain things. Say, for instance, okay, we're out at a bar, just drinking up a storm. It's not what God wanted for us. But we as humans thought, well, my friends are there. I need to be there.
Right. Right.
Not knowing all we were doing was living in complete and utter sin. That's why nothing went right for you. That's why nothing goes right for us when we're living in sin.
Right.
We have the hardest time making ends meet or meeting the right person in our life. All of those things play a factor. But once you have become a child of God, now He has you and you know it. But you can look back and say everything that you might have done. But this is the thing. Now that God's put you on this new path, He lives within you. You live within Him. You know that. Your backstory is your testimony. And until you get out that true testimony, and I'm not going to repeat what the testimony is, but I think in your mind you know what that is.
Yeah, you probably do too.
I know exactly what it is.
You probably do too.
I know exactly what it is.
And we still live in that, though. I think that we still, every day is a testimony.
It is.
Every single day
Yes.
is a testimony. And that's what's so great about it.
It is.
That is absolutely what's so great about it for my life, because every day I have this opportunity to allow God to help me.
Yes. But it's not only you. I mean, you're getting the help that you need from God. Mm-hmm. But God is also telling you, Tina, you can help others by your testimony.
It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than what I had ever imagined.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can see bigger things. Not to say I'm going to get bigger things. I'm okay if I don't.
Exactly.
But it's just the outlook. The outlook of, well, let me go backwards, because I will have bigger things, because in the heaven,
exactly,
the mansion is waiting, and I believe that.
Yeah.
So, every day, I don't feel like a failure anymore.
No,
I don't.
You should.
And I went through a lot of, alone time and isolation, and instead of actually solving some problems, I was complaining about the problems.
Yes, like we do.
Yeah,
we do that.
Just complaining about the problems instead of allowing help, the greatest help of all.
Yes.
Throughout my life, I really never realized that He was, I knew He was my help, but I knew it inside myself.
Yes.
I knew it inside myself, and it was, He wanted it out.
Yeah.
He wanted it out, so therefore, I had no choice. I had to step out of my comfort zone if that's what I wanted.
Yes.
And I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because this is the thing. We all, when we were in sin, we were in complete darkness. Utter darkness is what we were in. Once we find Jesus, and He lives within our heart, within us. We're walking in the light. So therefore, everything, as the Bible tells us, everything that's done in darkness will come to light. Period.
You know what's funny? Like when you say that, I'm brought back to times that like I can be going to work and I'll go on this 45.
Yeah.
Is it 45 or 145?
It's 145. I'll call it 045. But
Right. And down through there, you know, you have trees that hover the shadow
Yes.
over the road.
yeah.
And I'll think about that when I'm going through there, you know, the darkness, the light,
Yeah.
the darkness, the light.
Yeah.
I mean, like these things,
It's, you know,
it's right there in front of us.
it is, because God will show you sometimes bits and pieces of things
Yeah.
in your life. But once you become that child of God, you really pay attention to what you're seeing. And you know where it's coming from, you know.
Right.
And that's the difference. That lets not only you know, but people that are close to you can look at you and say, you know what, Tammy, you're just not the same. What's different? People can see that. They know that. And then they want that. People want what you have. And they can have that.
I'm willing to give it away.
You know.
I'm willing to give it away now.
Because, you know, it's like Jesus tells us, you know, we'll never be perfect. Ever. No matter how hard we try, we will not be perfect. But we are to strive to be perfect.
Right.
In Him.
Right.
So once you become that child of God, because He changes everything about you, He's not only changing the inner part of you, He's changing the outside part of you as well. You walk different. You talk different. You have this smile all the time. You know, it's almost radiating. People see that. And that is what will draw people to you.
And, you know, I do see that.
Yeah.
I do see that happening. Actually, you know, it amazed me today. Somebody just was passing me by. I was talking to somebody else, and they just passed by, and they're like, they gave me $5. They're like, here, enjoy your lunch.
Yeah.
And I took that as, one, they was watching me from afar, so they was stalking me. And two, they appreciated the light being shown.
Yes.
And that really touched my heart.
Yeah.
It really touched my heart. And it, to me, it was confirming.
Yeah.
God confirming to me, you're there. You're doing
exactly.
it. You know, here.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you know, God puts us on these paths sometimes that we're terrified of. And then we question. I know I myself have questioned, God, why? Why do you want me to do this? I don't understand.
mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you're calling me to do this certain thing when you know I can't do it. Then God's going to tell us, well, I wouldn't have given it to you if you couldn't handle it.
Oh my goodness. Do you know how many times in my life I've said that to myself? Like I would be in such distress
Mm-hmm.
and carrying burdens that I didn't have to carry.
No.
But the stress that I put on myself with that type of stuff, I would always tell myself, I know you wouldn't put more on me than I can handle.
Yeah.
I know this. I know this. I know this. But at that time, those were just words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And even though I knew what the Bible said, and I believe what the Bible said, I've never read it all the way through. I can tell you that. I've never studied it like I need to and like I want to now. But I believe that Bible from the front of the cover to the back of the cover, whether I understand it or not.
Yeah.
I know that that's His word.
Yes.
And I know that He still works through people.
Oh, definitely.
He works through people to show me ways that
yeah.
I would not think of.
Yeah.
So during that time that I was isolating myself in my independence and being rebellious, I
Yeah.
was hurting myself more than I was.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the comfort zone. I needed that comfort zone, and a lot of it I know was what I had been through.
Yeah.
What I'd been through, what I had lived in, and just wanting to be in that own place by myself where I wouldn't hurt nobody
Yeah.
and nobody could hurt me.
Yeah.
That's what it all had
Yeah.
to do with, really. That's the overall picture. Is like I didn't want to hurt nobody else from what I said, how I responded, and my behavior.
Yeah.
So there, and these are things that I had learned that I didn't want to be that person. So
Yeah.
for years and years, I'd isolate myself,
Mm-hmm.
and even from my own family,
Yeah.
even from my own kids, because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to talk to people,
Right.
and or how to bring up subjects that they're interested in. You
Yeah.
know, get around a lot of people, and everybody has basically the same stuff going on. They went on vacation, or they had this birthday party,
Exactly.
you know, or that their Christmas, they had Christmas dinner here, and like that's not something that I've been experiencing in my life, so I have nothing to talk
Yeah.
about when it comes to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you isolated.
all these years, all I got to talk about is Jesus.
And that's
Because that's where I was at, and
that's okay.
so stuck.
That's what we need.
I was stuck. I wasn't growing.
Yeah.
I wasn't growing, but I was stuck and didn't. But there's no doubt in my mind that's exactly where he wanted me to be.
Yes.
He had me there for a reason.
He did.
And I know that reason is to rebuild me.
Yeah. It's to
rebuild me, remake me. Let me see his word. Let me know exactly what it's supposed to be like. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And to have the opportunity to live it now.
Yeah.
Is the greatest blessing.
It is. It's something very precious.
Yes.
Is what it is. That's how I look at it. You know, because we're all gonna fall at times. We're all gonna have our moments, you know. But just like with you saying that you stayed alone, away from everyone, even your family, your kids, because you felt comfort in being alone. When God, he came knocking. Tina, I'm your comforter. Why not call on me? That's all he was waiting for. He already knew. He was waiting for you to call on him. Because he's already.
And you know
with
what?
you.
That brings me back to thinking, at a point in my life, I thought, well, God already knows. I talked to him about that yesterday.
Yeah.
So 2 years from now, he still knows.
Yeah.
Yes,
he knows.
So why would I have to repeat myself?
He knows. Yes, but at the same time, you got to look at it like this. He knows, but he's waiting on you.
The relationship.
God was never the one that ran. We run from him.
Right.
So he's just standing there waiting for us to come back to him.
Right.
And to fully accept him into our hearts, into our life. To where we know that even though we may go through some struggles in life, and we will,
Right.
God's not going to protect us from everything that goes on in this world, because there's always a lesson to learn in it.
And he allows those lessons.
Yes, I mean,
that's the thing now that I look at is, like just the ways the world is. Why has people got to come to me that ain't right?
Yeah.
Why they got to come to me that ain't right?
Yeah.
Like that. Why I got to be the one to deal with it?
Yeah.
but he doesn't put people in our lives for no reason at
No.
all. And what I've learned too, it is still there to him confirming you're still the one. You are still the one.
Yes.
You're the one, the chosen one today.
Yeah.
And to honor that
Yes.
is absolutely the place to be.
Yes.
It's just the place to be.
It is. I mean, God puts people in our life, in our path, for a reason. It may be for a season, but there was a reason for that. I know in particular, and I'm not going to go into detail, but I do know in particular that there was one that you had for a season.
And one with longer.
You did. But during that season, it brought you to God.
Exactly.
And that was his purpose.
Exactly.
So now that that person is no longer in your life like you were, there's a reason for that.
Absolutely.
But you have to, instead of dwelling on that, you thank God for sending him in your life.
Right.
Because he brought you to him. And although, it hurts. It does. There's pain that comes with that sometimes. But we also just have to turn around and say, thank you, Lord. Thank you for what you have given me. Because without that particular person walking into your life, you may not be where you are today.
And too, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to see with my own eyes what he's brought me through.
Exactly.
Because
yes,
I have seen what he brought me through, and I've seen this in other people.
mm-hmm.
And honey, I have went to my knees and thanked him, thank you for not having me in that place anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's just a new growth that I never really realized I'd ever do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I would have never thought that would have helped me grow. To be able to see that, and that's exactly what he was doing, trying to show me.
Yeah. He was working. He was working on.
He still is.
The whole and he always will.
And I'm gonna let him.
We
I kind of like him.
We have to let him work on us because we need it.
Absolutely.
Our souls need it.
Absolutely.
We need that. But we also have to lay everything out for him. Mm-hmm. Whatever burden we're carrying around, anything, it doesn't matter. We go to him for that.
Yeah, and
that
for
can
me,
be
that
difficult.
Gets easier and easier for me. Yeah. I mean, I never would have thought that I would leave it in his hands.
Yeah.
Because of being so independent, I had to fix this. I had to do this. I had to make sure this got right.
You thought you had to do everything.
I had to please everybody. And fix everybody.
But the thing is you were carrying that alone.
Alone, right? Right. And there's reason for that.
Oh,
because
definitely.
I look back now, the strength that has given. Mm-hmm. I think I'm a pretty strong lady. Stronger than I really wanted to ever be.
Yeah.
Because there was a point in my life, it's like, I don't even know how to not be strong.
Yeah.
Well, he showed me.
Yeah.
He gave me the opportunity to show me.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important for other women in their life.
It is, very.
There's a lot, I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women out there that are in situations that they're not happy in. That they may be getting abused.
Yeah.
And they're used to it, so they don't know how to be strong either.
Yeah.
But I think about those people.
Yeah.
And I think about, at my lowest, I think about those people that are there right now as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that person, that one, it just breaks my heart to think about. That's where the world is.
Yeah.
That's where the world is. It's exactly where I have been.
Yeah.
And I know how I felt there.
Yeah.
I know what I lost there. I know what other people lost by not having me there. You know, so I look at, you know, not anyone in particular that I'm thinking about. It's just the hearts of those who can't.
Yeah. They're alone.
And that,
In their minds.
and that
they're
I
alone.
believe is what our mission is.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
our mission to.
Our mission is to help others, to
And-
pray for everyone. You know, we can lift anyone up in prayer.
and to show our lives in the way we're living.
Yes.
Because that's really the more powerful place,
definitely.
I think.
Most
I think that's the most
definitely.
powerful place because that gives you, it's proof.
Yes.
It's absolute proof.
It's proof.
And, you know, I've always been that person, like, you ain't even got to show me. I
Yeah.
believe you. You know?
Yeah.
I just believe you. Why do I think you're lying?
Yeah.
You know, but just because
you-
that's who I am
Exactly.
does not mean that's who someone
No.
else is.
No, it doesn't at all.
And that's strange but true. That's a part of me that's changing
Yeah.
because I find that you can't listen to everybody else and believe them
No.
and trust them
Mm-mm.
and definitely not depend on them.
No.
As close as a friend as we are here, and I'd like to think that I could depend on you, I still can't depend on you.
Well,
You know, we can
yeah.
only depend on God and
Exactly.
what He carries us through. But there's no doubt in my mind that He's got us sitting right here, right now, because we are friends in Christ,
Yes.
and we can lean on each other.
Yeah, we can. Because that's what.
And when you start finding these people that it's been there all along.
Yes. I mean, we've known each other for how long?
I couldn't tell you. Childhood.
Did you
I
ever
mean,
think we would be doing
I can't
this?
remember ever not knowing you.
Me either. I mean, we played together as little kids,
I know,
you know.
I know.
I mean, I remember those years, but, you know, yeah.
And
God will surprise you sometimes.
yeah, those people that,
I mean, all I did was ask you to come over for a visit,
yeah, I said, we ain't visiting, just visiting,
you
girl.
know. And then here I am.
In my mind, I'm thinking, we ain't just visiting here. We got work to do.
Yeah, we got work. Work's got to be done.
We've got work to do. So, yeah.
And it's
Well,
a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah,
It
very
truly
much
is.
so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I appreciate you letting me record you here today in our conversation and our visit. I think that it's.
Although you didn't tell me when you hit record.
I did not tell you.
Yeah,
when I
you
hit-
snuck that in.
Yeah, because we was just talking.
Yeah.
And we was just getting caught up. So the introducing my friend Crystal here, who I invited to talk with me today and spend some time with me today, and she was very willing to do it. And yeah, I just hit record
Yeah, I know.
because we wasn't gonna hush.
We probably would.
We could sit here all day. Look,
Somebody had
this
to hit
weather.
record.
Yeah, this weather is awesome. This weather's awesome.
Yes.
So, but yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
I
you.
will anytime.
And thank y'all for listening to us. And y'all have a great evening. Love y'all.
Bye.